Positions of Flexion, or P.O.F, is a recovery-oriented training method that maximizes muscle fiber recruitment and growth. It's based on working the 3 positions, or angles, that each muscle requires for total size stimulation. This 3-position concept states that each muscle group needs 3 exercises for full, complete development, 1 for each position of flexion, the mid-range, stretch, and contracted positions. Let's take the lateral deltoid head as an example to help further explain P.O.F. The lateral delts stretch position is with the arm down and across your torso, as in the bottom of an incline one-arm lateral raise. In this position, you feel a distinct pull on the target muscle. The lateral delts contracted position is with the arm up, out to the side, and slightly above 90 degrees to your torso, as in the top of a standing lateral raise. The mid-range position is any type of overhead pressing exercise, such as the behind-the-neck press. It's best to work the mid-range position first, because mid-range exercises tend to work the majority of the muscle fibers in the target body part due to what is called synergy. Synergy is many muscles working together as a team and allows you to use maximum poundages. For example, with overhead presses, you work your lateral deltoid heads with the help of your triceps and traps. This muscle teamwork allows you to overload the most target muscle fibers possible. After you fatigue the bulk of the fibers with a mid-range movement, you then move to a stretch position exercise like the incline one-arm lateral raise. With this movement, you place the target muscle into a complete stretch, which allows you to take advantage of the myotatic reflex, or pre-stretch phenomenon, an action that can help you recruit fibers out of reserve. In other words, you're able to pull dormant muscle fibers into the action for a more intense contraction. A boxer often uses this technique just before punching. He quickly draws back his fist prior to thrusting it forward in order to pre-stretch the involved muscles and achieve a more powerful punch. You get the same effect at the bottom of a stretch position movement like the incline one-arm lateral raise or one-arm cable lateral raise. Because the muscle is completely stretched, you get a more powerful contraction with each rep when you quickly reverse the movement instead of pausing. Pre-stretch is one reason working the stretch position is vital to complete development with fewer sets. Last is the contracted position, where the target muscle is placed in its ultimate peak contracted or flexed state with opposing resistance. For example, with dumbbell lateral raises, you engage the lateral deltoid heads through the entire range of motion, and at the end of each rep, you get an intense cramping contraction. You usually work this position last because full range resistance is the best way to finish off the target muscle and squeeze the last bit of effort from the working fibers. By working every muscle group's mid-range, stretch, and contracted positions, you can effectively fatigue the target muscles during each workout with fewer sets, while still covering all the angles. From a physiological standpoint, this type of efficiency of effort in the gym is the key to maximum muscle growth in a much shorter time frame. Let's analyze the deltoid and chest muscles and go through a complete P.O.F. workout for each of these muscle groups to help further explain this exciting mass-building method. The deltoid is a 3-headed muscle that consists of the anterior or front head, the lateral or side head, and the posterior or rear head. Fortunately, the front and rear heads get plenty of size stimulation when you train other body parts. For example, when you do bench presses, your front delts come into play as synergists that help your pecs move the resistance. You get the same front deltoid head action during incline bench presses as well. When you do pull-downs, your rear deltoid heads bear a large share of the load. You also get rear head involvement during any type of rowing exercise. This means that you should concentrate on direct work for the lateral or side delt heads for that cannonball deltoid look, because they get minimal, indirect stimulation from other exercises. To recap, the first exercise in the P.O.F. deltoid routine is the behind the neck press. This is a mid-range movement because your lateral delt heads never reach full stretch or complete contraction during the movement, and you get synergy from your triceps and traps. Muscle teamwork allows you to really pile on the poundage so that you give the maximum number of lateral delt fibers a sizable jolt. To get the most from this mid-range position exercise, don't use a jerking motion or throw the weight up with momentum. This will take stress off the deltoids. Keep your reps smooth yet powerful. Also, use little or no pause at the top. There is no resistance in the top position, so pausing will only rest the target muscles. Try to keep the bar moving in a piston-like manner, 2 seconds up and 2 seconds down, and concentrate on feeling your deltoids work. Alternate mid-range position exercises include dumbbell presses. Drive the dumbbells from your shoulders overhead with your palms facing forward. Touch the inner plates together at the top and return to the starting position in a controlled manner. Remember, you want to keep pumping the dumbbells up and down with no pause at the top or bottom of the movement. The second exercise in the P.O.F. delt routine is the incline one-arm lateral raise. With this movement, you completely work the lateral deltoid head in its stretch position. This stretch occurs due to your upper arms across the torso position. At the bottom of this movement, you'll feel a strong pull on the deltoid muscles. This pull or stretch will allow you to take advantage of the pre-stretch phenomenon. Remember, this is not a bounce, but simply a quick reversal of movement in the bottom position that helps you involve more muscle fibers. To make this stretch position exercise as effective as possible, don't raise the dumbbell higher than parallel with the floor. Don't throw the weight up, and don't rest at the top or bottom of the movement. Alternate stretch position exercises include one-arm cable lateral raise. Stand far enough away from the pulley that your arm is pulled across your torso. This will give your lateral deltoid head the important pre-stretch. Don't raise the cable handle higher than parallel to the floor. Keep in mind that it's the bottom stretch position that's most important here. The last exercise in the P.O.F. deltoid routine is the lateral raise. Here you achieve total contraction of the target muscle because your upper arm is up and away from your torso at a greater than 90-degree angle. Notice that there is still resistance in the flexed position of this exercise, a prerequisite for peak contraction. This will allow you to contract the target muscle to its maximum and effectively finish off the muscle through a full range of motion. To get the most from this contracted position exercise, keep your torso leaning slightly forward. Don't tip the front of the dumbbells up or back. Try to keep them parallel to the floor at all times. Don't stop the movement short and neglect the contracted position. And hold each rep for at least a count of 1 to get the full peak contraction effect. You should use this hold and flex technique on all contracted position exercises. Alternate contracted position exercises include upright rows. Use a shoulder-width grip. If this exercise is uncomfortable and causes pain in your shoulder joint, try it with dumbbells so that your hands have more freedom of movement. Here are 2 radically effective P.O.F. deltoid routines. Routine 1. Mid-range. Behind the neck presses. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. stretch. Incline one-arm lateral raises. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Contracted. Lateral raises. 1 to 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Routine 2. Mid-range. Dumbbell presses. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Stretch. One-arm cable lateral raises. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Contracted. Upright rows. 1 to 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. To construct an effective pectoral building program, you should first divide the chest into 2 sections, the upper chest and the lower chest, as these areas tend to function somewhat separately due to the pectoral muscle's multiple points of insertion along the breastbone. Let's take the upper chest first and analyze its 3 positions of flexion. You work your upper pecs through their mid-range position with any type of incline pressing movement. You achieve the upper pecs stretch position at the bottom of any type of incline fly. And you achieve total upper pec contraction when you extend your arms and cross them over your upper chest. The first exercise in the P.O.F. upper chest routine is the incline press, a mid-range exercise for this muscle group. Notice that the target muscle doesn't reach full stretch or complete contraction. Also notice that you get synergy from your triceps and front deltoids during this exercise. To make this mid-range position exercise as productive as possible, drive the weight up and slightly back to a point above your eyes. This will take advantage of your natural strength curve. Touch the bar to your upper chest just below your clavicles. Also, there is no reason to pause at the top because there is no resistance at the top. Keep the bar moving in a piston-like manner. Alternate mid-range exercises include incline dumbbell presses. Touch the inner plates to your front delt head and then drive the dumbbells up to a point above your eyes and touch the inner plates together. Then lower the dumbbells back to the start position in a controlled manner. The second exercise in the P.O.F. upper chest routine is the incline cable fly. With this movement, you get complete upper pec stretch because your arms are almost straight and the resistance pulls them back behind your torso. This complete stretch position for your upper pecs places resistance on the target muscle when it's elongated, which allows you to take advantage of the pre-stretch phenomenon. By reversing the movement with a quick twitch in the bottom stretch position, you can involve more fibers, get a more powerful contraction, and stimulate more growth in the target muscle. To make the incline cable fly as effective as possible, don't pause at the bottom of each rep. You want a quick twitch at this point in order to recruit reserve muscle fibers. Retain a slight break at your elbows. This will relieve tension from your biceps and help you focus on your upper pectorals. With proper performance, incline cable flies not only completely work your upper pecs stretch position, but they also hit its contracted position due to the resistance in the top position. This is a very effective and efficient upper chest exercise because of this 2 positions in 1 effect. From the bottom stretch position, bring your arms up over your upper chest and cross them at the wrists. You'll feel a searing contraction. Hold for at least a count of 1, then lower back to the stretch position for a pre-stretch twitch before powering back up into the contracted position. Here's how your P.O.F. upper pec routine looks. Mid-range, incline barbell presses, or incline dumbbell presses. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Stretch and contracted, incline cable flies. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. The lower chest consists of more muscle mass and is easier to develop than the upper chest. That's why most bodybuilders should work the lower chest after their upper chest work in their pec routines. In other words, work the upper chest first. Let's analyze the lower pec's 3 positions of flexion. You work the mid-range position of your lower pecs with any type of flat or decline pressing movement. You work your lower pec's stretch position with any type of flat or decline fly. And you achieve the lower pec's totally contracted position when you extend your arms and cross them over your lower chest. P.O.F. protocol states that you should begin with the lower pec mid-range movement, which will hit the bulk of the fibers. One of the best choices is the bench press. Touch the bar to your low pec line on each rep and then drive it up and back over your eyes in order to take advantage of your natural strength curve. To get the most from this mid-range position exercise, don't bounce the weight off your chest. Let the bar lightly touch your low pec line and then ram it back to the top position. Keep your arms angled away from your torso to prevent excessive triceps involvement. And use a piston-like motion, no rest at the top or bottom. Alternate mid-range exercises include bench presses with dumbbells. Keep your arms angled away from your torso to prevent excessive triceps involvement. And use a piston-like motion, no rest at the top or bottom. To work the lower pec's stretch position, do cable crossovers. This will completely stretch your lower pectorals if you allow your arms to pull back behind the plane of your torso. You'll know you've reached this position when you feel a strong pull on your pecs. Once you hit this position, quickly reverse the movement. To get the most from this stretch position exercise, lean slightly forward. This will help your arms pull back behind your torso. Also, hold the bottom position for at least a 1 count, because like the cable flies for upper pecs, this doubles as a contracted position movement for your lower pecs as well. Once again, you get the efficiency of a 2 positions in 1 exercise when you do cable crossovers. To hit the lower pecs contracted position, hold the bottom arms crossed position for a hard flex before releasing to the stretch position. An alternate stretch and contracted lower chest exercise is decline cable flies. With this movement, you want to be sure that the decline bench is pulled slightly forward of the crossover machine so that your arms are forced down and back at the bottom. Here are 2 effective lower chest routines. Mid-range, bench presses. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Stretch and contracted, crossovers. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Routine 2, mid-range. Bench presses with dumbbells. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Stretch and contracted. Decline cable flies. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Here are a few tips to help you get the most development possible from P.O.F. 1. Train your chest and deltoids no more than twice a week using P.O.F. This will keep you from overtraining these muscle groups. 2. If you split your routine, alternate the following 2 workouts with a day of rest in between. Day 1, quads, hamstrings, calves, chest, and triceps. Day 2, rest. Day 3, back, deltoids, biceps, forearms, and abs. Day 4, rest. 3, do 2 light warm-up sets on your mid-range exercises for each body part, using 50 to 70% of your work weight, and 1 light warm-up set on your stretch position movements. Keep in mind that a warm muscle can contract harder than a cold one, so don't neglect these important sets. 4. Take all of your P.O.F. work sets to positive failure, to the point where another repetition in good form is impossible. This will ensure that you're overloading the muscle and stimulating growth at every workout. 5. Never do more than 24 high-intensity sets in any one workout. More than 24 sets taken to positive failure in any one workout will cause most bodybuilders to overtrain. And 6, use a phase training approach. Do 4 to 6 weeks of high-intensity training, taking every work set to at least positive failure, then back off for 2 weeks, stopping every work set 2 reps short of failure. The 2-week medium-intensity phase will allow your recovery ability to heal and prepare your muscles and your overall system for your next high-intensity phase. The chest and deltoids are the torso's crowning muscles, and you must develop them to their fullest if you want to achieve maximum physical impressiveness. Size on the lateral deltoid heads will give your physique a wider look, while dense pectorals from clavicles to sternum will thicken your torso from the side and give you a commanding appearance. Hit each muscle's 3 positions of flexion: mid-range, stretch, and contracted, with a few sets of blast furnace intensity, and then move on. Don't think that more work is better. It usually isn't. With logical, recovery-oriented P.O.F. training, you'll get explosive growth and quickly develop what every bodybuilder craves: critical mass.